Today, I'm going to talk about 7 habits you should stop immediately. Habit number 1 is taking things personally, right? This is a natural inclination, a tendency we all have when things go, maybe not according to plan or they're not ideal. We think, why is this happening to me? It's life against me. He doesn't believe in me. She doesn't like me. Whatever the case is, right? Where the most impressive people I've seen on this planet emotionally detach that sentiment. And it's not life happening to you. It's, okay, something happened. Now the ball's in my court. Where's the value? How do I pick up the pieces? Where do I go from here? Right? And I've learned this over and over and over again. I remember just starting this business. There were situations where some of the people I thought would be there, that I expected to have my back, that were in my circle, they just weren't. And I took that personally. And as years progressed, I realized, look, in life, there are a few people that root for your success, that truly have your back, and you cherish those people. It's not personal, it's human nature, right? There were times where a particular endeavor or venture or creative project just didn't land. And I thought, man, maybe I don't get it. Maybe I'm not good at this. When in reality, no, you just go back to the drawing board and create version 2. That's just life, right? Or relationships that I believed in, that I was high on, fell apart. Doesn't mean I'm a terrible person, destined to be alone until I die. It means you evolve until you find the right person. That's life, right? And so all these things that we can easily project out at the world and ask, why is this happening to me, can also be an invitation to improve and step further into life. And if you approach things with that viewpoint, you position yourself to evolve. That's where the magic happens, right? It's not personal, it's life. Number 2 is chronically consuming. We are immersed in a world of content. It's everywhere. We're scrolling on TikTok, Instagram, on YouTube. I always joke around that I can't even go and upload a video on YouTube because the homepage is giving me exactly what I want to see. It knows exactly what I want to click on. It takes discipline not to, right? And I think that's what it's about. It's creating parameters around that stuff so that you can be your best self, so that you can be effective. Because when you're constantly consuming, you're not creating, you're not evolving, right? Robin Sharma has a quote that stuck with me, and I'm sort of paraphrasing, but he says, you have 2 options. You can be distracted or you can do incredible things, but you can't do both. And I think we need to understand that, start taking that into account. Right? That's why I reference Cal Newport's book, Deep Work, so often. The idea that we need to build walls around ourselves, create space for ourselves to sit down and do what's important, to work on the things that are going to truly move us along. If you want to scare yourself, start looking at your screen time every night before you go to bed. I mean, we're on these devices astronomically long, and cutting that down will improve your life in every single way, by every single metric. Consume less, create more. Number 3 is stop watching politics. Stop chronically consuming the news, the name calling, the mud throwing. Look, I get it, right? In the United States and Western democracies at large, it is our civic duty to understand, to be educated, to take a basic competence and level of awareness into the voting booth. 100%, I get it. The question is, where do you draw the line? Because people are using politics, for some reason, federal politics, to outsource the very things that are going to improve their own lives, right? It's like there are personal agency gaps, there are community gaps, family gaps, religious gaps that people are just outsourcing to lifetime politicians in DC. And not only that, making it team sport, my guy versus your guy. He said this, she said this. Great, it's entertainment, right? Beyond this basic level of understanding that you should be consuming, as little as possible to understand what's going on in the world, it's just distracting you. It's not gonna make you a better athlete. It's not gonna improve your health. It's not gonna improve your education or make you smarter. It's not gonna make your business better. It's not gonna do anything good, right? We have to understand that this has ballooned into something that's detrimental at the individual level in ways I can't even describe, right? So, personal opinion, I was a political science major in college. I enjoy it. I understand the value and the importance, but the best thing I've done in my life is cutting back. Consume as little as I can to know and to be able to, have a basic level of competence, and that's it. So, to me, if you really are serious about personal growth and bettering your life, let go of the politics. Number 4 is stop overthinking. It's one of my favorite, one of the most powerful, and one of the simplest, right? You can plan, strategize, map out the best paths. That always pales in comparison to just going, to the real life experience of starting, falling down, getting back up, collecting the data, taking the wisdom, learning the lessons. The goal should not be the perfect path. The goal should be, how do I create mobility? That's why there's so much value in starting, because you're giving yourself an opportunity to react to life. Right? So stop overthinking things, worst case scenarios, what could go wrong. Just let the feet hit the pavement, and you'll find yourself in places you never thought you'd be, and a lot of times quicker than you thought you'd be there. Stop overthinking. Number 5 is stop putting others on a pedestal. I remember when I was younger, my grandfather, who was an admiral in the Navy, would always have meetings or, be sending pictures of himself with heads of state and all these very influential folks. And I would say, do you ever get nervous? Like, how do you do that, right? And he said, Eddie, they all put their pants on one leg at a time, right? And as you get older, that makes more sense, right? Because there's always someone, whatever your pursuit is, who's a little further along. And it's easy to glamorize them and see them as something incredible, totally different from you. No, they've just been playing the game longer, right? Success is very often just little steps compounding over time. And seeing that is important because you understand, 1, that they're not too different from you, and 2, that by staying on course, continually moving forward and making the little adjustments will get you there. So stop putting others on a pedestal. Learn from them, take what's valuable. Most importantly, continue your path. Continue following your pursuit and the steps that mean the most to you. Number 6 is stop spending time with negative people. I think we talk a lot about the inverse, right? The importance of being around people who inspire you and lift you up, right? We've all heard you are the sum or average, is it average? Average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. That's great, and it makes sense. I think we don't pay attention to how detrimental it is to hang around negative people. It destroys your worldview. I don't know if you have ever experienced someone who everything's bad, it's always a problem, anything can arise and they'll tell you why it's negative. You start thinking like that. It's impossible to be your best self when that's your mindset, when that's what you're around. It reminds me of the frog in the pot of boiling water, right? Supposedly, if the pot is boiling and you put a frog in, it realizes it's boiling and jumps out. If you put a frog in a pot of cool water and slowly heat it up, he doesn't realize. He doesn't realize it's getting warmer over time and he burns to death, right? He dies. And I think there's a lot of parallels to being around constant negativity. This will never work. Why try? Or anything that arises talking about the problems. Your life changes when you start seeing the upside. Start looking at things from a solution-based mindset, because anything that occurs, you have that option, right? You can find the negative or you can find the positive. And it's a muscle. It's something that needs to be reinforced. So yes, surround yourself with people that help reinforce that positivity. But before that, remove yourself from those people that are constantly toxic and reminding you what's wrong in the world. They're doing you no favors. And finally, number 7, you are not tied to your past. When you look in the mirror, you have an understanding of the person looking back. There's an identity there, a story that you believe. And you believe it because of the culmination of days that led up to today, right? It's like how you saw yourself in the past, how others saw you in the past. One of the most powerful things you can let go of is that obligation to continually be that person if it doesn't align with who you want to be. You're not indebted to that version of yourself. You can change. You can become something new. You can do new things. You can start hanging out with new people. You can completely change your life. And there's friction when you start because of the dissonance in your head. It's like, I'm doing things, but they're not me, right? That's not who I was, and it feels weird and it feels uncomfortable. That's part of the process. You can recreate yourself. Anytime, you have to let go of the notion that you need to continuously be who you were. You don't owe anyone anything, right? So let go of the notion that you need to hold on to your past, because you don't. So those are my 7 habits you should let go of immediately in order to live a happier, healthier, more productive life. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. I appreciate you guys hanging out, and I'm looking forward to the next one. Take care.